What's up, guys? So today I want to talk to you about a little quick bit out of Ray Dalio's book, Principles. I freaking love Ray Dalio. You've heard me talk about him a lot. He's a massive hedge fund manager. He started Bridgewater Associates, and they manage, I believe, over $100 billion in their accounts, and they've kind of revolutionized certain aspects of investing and managing money. And so he's a very, very cool guy. And this is his book where he basically feels like he's at the stage of life where he needs to share his knowledge, experience, and expertise with others so that they can enjoy more success and build off of what he's done to achieve even greater results. So pretty cool guy. This book is filled with his knowledge, his systems, things he's done. So he says most people lack the courage to confront their own weaknesses and make the hard choices that this process requires. Ultimately, it comes down to the following 5 decisions. So he's basically talking about how you can achieve anything you want as long as you're open-minded and you are not afraid of discovering your weaknesses and then solving the issues that need to be solved in order to overcome them or get around them, right? So here's his 5 decisions. Number 1, don't confuse what you wish were true with what is really true. And he has constantly harped on that he was incredibly wrong one time, very publicly, that essentially ruined his business when he was young. Lost all his employees, lost his partner, barely had any money, and he had to start over because he was dead set on that he was correct. The markets would react this way to this event, and then they didn't. And it kind of confused him how could I think I was so right and be so wrong, right? And so from then on, he's tried to get feedback on I think this is what's going to happen. How do I know I'm right? Or how do I know I'm not wrong, right? And so he's constantly looking for feedback. So don't confuse what you wish were true with what's actually true. Work to find the actual truth objectively. Don't worry about looking good. Worry instead about achieving your goals. Probably no explanation needed, but people spend way too much time worried about things that don't really matter and therefore forfeit their goals, which are more important to your own feelings of satisfaction, achievement, and success. Number 3, don't overweight first order consequences relative to second and third order consequences. Now, that one may need some explanation. He has a whole section on it, but essentially he's saying that sometimes a decision has multiple layers of consequence, and oftentimes the first consequence may be a negative thing or an undesirable consequence, but the second and third orders are very desirable. So here's his examples. He says, quite often the first order consequences are the temptation that cost us what we really want. And sometimes they are the barriers that stand in our way. It's almost as though nature sorts us by throwing us trick choices that have both types of consequences and penalizing those who make their decision on the basis of the first order consequence alone. So he says exercise, for example. What are the first order consequences? Well, time, energy, maybe pain if you're really out of shape or if you're pushing hard, right? It's those things aren't desirable. But the second order consequence of putting that time, energy, and effort in getting through the pain is better fitness, more cardiovascular health, clarity of mind, more feelings of joy, happy hormones in your brain, longevity of life, the ability to enjoy physical activity that may come up at any time, right? That you could enjoy at a greater extent if you're fit versus, unfit. Those are second and third order consequences of going through pain. He also uses food. The food that tastes the best is the sweet stuff, the sugary sweets that are, if you consume frequently and too much, you end up with negative consequences. Whereas making healthier food choices, not overeating and eating the best foods you can find, it's not always the sweetest and savoriest, but results in many of the same second and third order consequences as exercise, right? So I thought that was interesting. Look at things for the various layers of consequences, not just the first one. Number 4, don't let pain stand in the way of progress. He talks a lot about that. Like, struggle is just part of life, and those who struggle well do well. They feel good. They feel feelings of success, joy for overcoming things. They're also the greatest achievers. And he names a whole bunch of people who are extremely successful people, and they're all the best at like struggling well, like recognizing pain and weakness and struggle and difficulty and barriers are not reflections of a poor person or a bad character. Rather, it's a challenge that they look forward to overcoming, and then they do that, and they get all these wonderful accolades and consequences as a result. But very few people have that desire. So don't let pain stand in the way of progress. Number 5, don't blame bad outcomes on anyone but yourself. So I'll leave you with that one. Those are Ray Dalio's 5 decisions to become successful and obtain essentially anything you want. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you on the next one.